Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you so much for joining me today for our Nimble training webinar. My name is Michaela Anderdal, and I'm Nimble's community manager. We're recording today's session, so everybody who registered will receive a recording of today's session later today. If you have any questions during today's session, please use the question box to let us know. My colleague Megan will be compiling all the questions into a document and share it with me so I can answer all of them at the end of the webinar. During the next 45 minutes, I will take you on the tour through the entire Nimble application. We'll cover what Nimble is, how to get started, how to connect all your emails, calendars, and how to import your contacts from various different places. And we'll also go through every single feature. So again, if you have any questions at any point, use the question box and I'll make sure to go through all of them at the end of the webinar. So what is Nimble? Nimble is an easy-to-use customer relationship management tool that helps small to medium-sized businesses and entrepreneurs to manage their business relationships better. It integrates with both Office 365 and Gmail, so it doesn't matter if maybe you are using a combination for your professional and personal reasons. You can connect as many email accounts to Nimble as you want, as long as they are IMAP accounts. We do not support POP. Nimble has basic follow-up CRM follow-up features so that you can use them to schedule any to-dos for yourself or anybody else on your team to make sure that everything's getting done and nothing is falling through the cracks. On top of that, Nimble has a segmentation feature that allows you to segment your database into targeted groups, as well as group message feature, which you can utilize to message these segmented groups and then get insights on the clicks and opens. Nimble also has deals and pipeline management features together with reporting. And the cost of Nimble is $25 per month per user, and it goes down to $19 when you pay annually. So here we are in Nimble. This is our Today page, and it's the first page that you'll see every time you log into Nimble. I would like to actually back up a little bit because when you first log into Nimble, you will first have to connect all your accounts and import your contacts. And you can do so by clicking on the circle in the top right corner here, and then you would go to Networks and Imports. On this page, we make it really easy for you to immediately connect the email provider that you're using. So if you're using Outlook, you can just click on that and connect it. Same with Gmail. If you're using any different email providers, you would just scroll down and under Connected Accounts, you could just click here on Connect Email Account and then select if it's an Office 365 account or if it's an IMAP account. We also have support articles, and Megan will be sharing the link to the support article in the chat box for you, in which you can find detailed information on how to connect all different kinds of IMAP accounts to Nimble. When you're done with connecting your emails, we also give you the option to import your contacts. So this would be Google Contacts if you're using that feature inside of Gmail, and also your Outlook contacts. One thing I would like to mention is that every time you're importing something into Nimble, make sure that you apply an appropriate tag. This will ensure that not just you, but everybody else on your team will always know how any contacts got into your Nimble database. So it will help the entire team to stay organized. You can also edit tags inside of Nimble, and we'll go over that in just a little bit. So once you've connected your emails, and I want to repeat that you can connect as many emails to Nimble as you want. And the way it works is that once you connect them, we will go 90 days back and we will match all your history of interactions you've had with any of your existing contacts. Connecting calendars is also very easy. We have a bidirectional synchronization with both Outlook and Google Calendar. So no matter if you're using the calendar that you connected inside of Nimble or where you're used to using it, like in Google Calendar or Outlook, the information will be synced. We have a direct integration with Twitter So if you're a user of Twitter, this might make you happy, because in the same way we do it with emails, meaning that once you locate somebody's contact record inside of Nimble, you can see the history of interactions you've had with the person on email. You can also see the history of interactions you've had with them on Twitter, including direct messages. In terms of LinkedIn integration, that's a question we get asked a lot. So currently, and this is because LinkedIn and also Facebook, they both don't allow for the integration to work on their APIs. So you can currently only go onto LinkedIn and download the list of your connections and then import it into Nimble as a CSV file. Once you do that, again, please attach a tag so everybody on your team knows that these contacts got into Nimble because they were downloaded and then imported from your LinkedIn account. And then that file will be saved as a CSV file. So if you're currently not using a CRM, and maybe you're managing your prospect and customers inside of a spreadsheet, you can easily export the spreadsheets into a CSV file and then use this importer to import them into Nimble. If you are using a CRM and perhaps you want to migrate to Nimble, or if you're using any other application, and we currently integrate with over 160 software as a service applications, so you can use this search to search for them manually, or just scroll down and see if you find the application that you would like to sync with Nimble. The way it works is when you want to utilize this integration, it is done via a third-party partner that we have. They're called PySync. It's a company based out of Belgium, and they specialize in data synchronization. They currently offer all our users 14-day free trial. During the trial, you can actually bring all your contacts from the app that you want to sync with Nimble into Nimble. Then if you only want to sync less than 2,000 contacts per month, the integration remains free. If you would be syncing more, there would be a charge associated with that, and Megan can actually share a link to their pricing so you can look at it and see how much that would be. But for anybody who just wants to migrate, this would be an amazing way to do it. It's really easy. Setting up the trial is easy, and like I said, you can actually bring in all your contacts while on the trial. And then you would just leave the trial expire if you don't want to be syncing it. And it works on rules. So for instance, if you were to connect MailChimp, if a contact gets created in MailChimp, then you could set it up so the contact record is also created in Nimble, and a specific tag gets attached to them too, so you can pull the person and manage the relationship in Nimble, even though they first got into your MailChimp account. Since we're in settings, there are a few things that I would also want to cover before we go through all the different features that Nimble have. If you need to do any account management, if you're the owner of the account, you would do so under My Account. This is where you can set the time zone, set the currency. That's also a question that we get asked a lot. And change your password, or you can also transfer the ownership. Figuring out who the account admin is really important. Sometimes what we see is that the person that signed up for a Nimble trial is not necessarily the person who will be in charge of adding new users and coming up with any processes. So then they need to change the ownership to somebody else who would be responsible for all these things in the future. So you can do that under My Account. And it's also before you onboard your entire team, it's also important to ask yourself some questions like, are all the people that I'll be inviting to Nimble have the same rights? Because account admin will have full control and visibility over the Nimble account, except for any private Twitter messages or email conversations. Of course, those are set on private by default, but the rest of the team will be subject to permissions. So let me go into users here and I'll show you what it looks like. So if you were to add or remove more licenses, you would do it here and add the number of licenses you want to add. Then you would click on invite users and just invite your entire team. You can separate the email addresses by commas and everybody will receive an email with instructions on how to access their own Nimble instance and get it set up. So if you're the account admin, you can actually distribute the rights for bulk export or bulk delete. So this is really good precaution because sometimes people leave, and unfortunately, sometimes they also take the database or the contacts that you spend many years building with them. So that's something to think about before you start inviting your team. You can also give them an access to configure pipelines. We'll go over it just in a little bit because Nimble has multiple deals pipelines, so you can restrict this right from certain team members. And we also have deal privacy that you can control. So any deals that will be created in Nimble, it can be said that all of them can be edited and viewed by the entire team, or you can select certain members to just be able to view them, or view and edit just their own deals. Pipelines can be configured here. So you would just click onto one, you can change the name of the pipeline and select all the stages. But we'll go over it in more detail once we're reviewing deals feature in Nimble. Data fields. I already mentioned organizing contacts in Nimble by using tags, and tags are super easy and just a really good way to organize your contacts. But especially if you grow and start using more and more tags, it could become a little crowded in your Nimble database, especially when you're reviewing somebody's contact record, and let's say they have more than even 20 tags, it gets a little messy. So in order to keep your database clean, Nimble offers you to create up to 5 custom tabs, and under each tab you can actually define the fields. So the individual fields can be single line text or multi-line text. They can be a select box, or it can be a separator or an address field. So this would really depend on the specific needs of your company. But when you utilize custom fields, it ensures that your database will be much cleaner. When you have any special fields in the spreadsheet that maybe you're using to manage your customer relationships right now, you can either create the custom fields before you run the import, or you can actually create them when you're importing, because our what we call Nimble Contacts Wizard, it will prompt you to create a custom fields on the import. So every time you're uploading a CSV file with contacts into Nimble, and Nimble doesn't recognize the fields, we will ask you if you want to create them, and then we will fill it automatically. So no data is lost when you're running imports. I think these are the most important things in settings, so we can go on to Today page. On Today page, every time you want to change something, you could click on Manage Widgets. In here, you can see that you can upload your company logo or your picture. You can also change the cover. We have some default ones you can choose, or you can actually you can choose one that works for you. Maybe a picture of ocean that you took on your vacation. You can completely customize what the page looks like. You can drag and drop. It's very easy. If you want to get rid of some widgets here, because not all of them will be relevant to all roles in the company. So maybe when you're in sales, you would definitely want to see all our sales related widgets. But when you're not, you would maybe want to focus only on the widget that show your calendar or all your to-dos that either you created or somebody else on your team created, or you might want to focus on how people are interacting with your email. So you could quickly just click here, hide widget on those that you don't want to see, or go through the entire checklist here and unselect those that don't work for you. When you're done, you close settings. And as I mentioned, the events widget will show everything that's on your calendar. If you connect multiple calendars into Nimble, you can switch between them. Tasks are to-dos in Nimble, and you can create them for yourself or you can delegate them. So the entire list of the tasks that have been either assigned to you or you created for yourself will show here. You can toggle between upcoming ones, those that are overdue, completed, or those that have been marked as important, or you can also see what's on the team's plate, the upcoming ones, overdue, completed, or those important. You can also create the task straight from here. So you would put the task name, description, the due date. You can relate it to specific context, and you can assign it to yourself or anybody else on your team. You can further organize your tasks by tag. So if you have a bunch of tasks that relate to a specific campaign or special task, you can use tags to organize it even more. And under our activities listing, I'll show you just in a little bit how you can pull just the tag to first tackle the project that needs to be done the fastest. Email tracking. We do have email tracking for both Outlook and Gmail. The difference between the tracking is that on Gmail, you can track all your emails from inside of your Gmail, but with Outlook, you would have to track it manually from inside of Nimble. But the tracking works for both. So the only disadvantage right now for Outlook is that you will not be able to track it from inside of your Outlook app. You will have to go into Nimble and send a message from Nimble and do that. Highlighted context. Nimble has a feature that allows you to tell Nimble what the keywords and any titles that are important to you or your business are. And then once you start importing context into Nimble, Nimble will be matching the keywords and titles with the existing context and resurfacing the context that match these keywords to bring these people to your attention, and maybe it will help you uncover somebody that you'll realize that you should have been in touch already. Signals will be signals mostly from Twitter. So if you are not utilizing Twitter for work, this might be a widget that you hide. Stay in touch. Nimble has a stay in touch feature. There is a little clock next to all your contacts, and you'll have the option to tell Nimble to remind you to stay in touch with people on a regular basis. It can be set to a specific day and time, or you can set it so Nimble prompts you on monthly or quarterly basis to do so. So everybody who you use this feature for will show up here to kind of remind you that it needs to be done and when. Pipeline charts, stage funnel, and deals widget. These are the boxes that are sales related. So if you're in sales, you probably want to have these, if not even all the way up, at least somewhere where you can easily scroll to it and view them. So the deals, it will show you the list of all the deals, and it depends which ones you want to see. Do you want to see the active ones that you created or those that you have won or lost? You can also see all the team deals or active ones, won ones, or those that have been lost. You can also create a deal straight from here. So create the deal name, probability, primary contact, any participants, the projected amount, expected close date. You can assign it to yourself or anybody else on your team. And this is where you can set the privacy and select the appropriate pipeline, because Nimble has multiple deal pipelines, and you can put them in the particular stage. In stage funnel, shows you, it's like a nice visual view into your funnel. Same with the pipeline chart. You can select which pipeline you are looking at, if it's your deals or team deals. and quickly see what's going on and what deals might need any attention. So that's the Today page. If you have any questions, please type them in and I'll make sure to go over them at the end of the session. Now, contacts. Contacts are probably the most important tab in Nimble where you'll be working, because it's a contact relationship management tool. So you can do some basic segmentation here. When you click on all contacts, Nimble will show you all the contacts that you have imported into Nimble. You can view just people, just companies, those that you have marked as important, those that you recently viewed, those that have been recently added. This is very useful if maybe you are using our browser extension and want to quickly see if the person was added. Maybe you want to make any changes on the contact record and so on. Recently contacted. So this is a very useful feature, and it's actually done automatically. So every time you reach somebody over Twitter or email, Nimble will reset the last contacted here. And we also have custom activities that you can set. So when you do the activity, it also resets this feature. You can also search based on that. So you could actually pull up a list of all the people that you have either touched or haven't touched in more than 30 days, and then call them. This is where you can see all the people that you use the Stay in Touch reminder for. And we also added remove contacts folders. So every time you are deleting contacts, we will ask you if you're really, really, really sure that you want to delete the contact. But we understand that sometimes you just click yes and maybe then later realize you didn't mean to do that. So you can still undo the remove, and you would just go under remove contacts here in Nimble. When you're running any campaigns and you want to outreach to specific groups of people, you would probably want to explore our segmentation. And I'll show you one more time how you launch it. You have to click into this darker blue box on the main bar. Once you click on them, Nimble will launch these, what we call quick filters. So these are not all the filters you can use to segment your database, but they are just the commonly used ones. So you could quickly pull up an existing tag and further refine it by location, let's say. So if you're going to a conference, you want to pull up a list of your clients that have been tagged with the tag clients, those that are located in Santa Monica, California. You could apply the tag to them. Here on the left side, you can also tell Nimble if you want to just be looking at people or companies or both, or if the search values should match all of them or any. So now it will show all contacts that have been marked with the tag new contact from LinkedIn, or the city is Santa Monica. By clicking on Edit Filter, you can select any other fields that you would want to be segmented on. And I mentioned that you can create custom fields inside of Nimble, so you can also segment on those. So if I wanted to create a group message here, I could click on email and only tell Nimble to show me the people that they actually have an email address here. So I could update it like this, and Nimble will show me just the people that I have emails for, and I could contact them. When I'm done with creating the searches, I can immediately take actions like marking people as important, setting up the Stay in Touch reminder, adding tags. I could merge contacts if, let's say, I identify any duplicates. I could also export them into CSV file, vCard, or MailChimp. And this is where the permissions come into place again. So this is something that the account admin can actually restrict some users from. Same with deleting. So if you're the account admin, you don't want anybody else on your team to be able to bulk delete or bulk export, these options will be grayed out for them and they will not be able to click on it. You could easily send people a group message straight from here. And you can also save segments, and these will be dynamic segments. So if this is a search that you know you would want to be using in the future and would not want to go through all the work and add in all these fields here. You could just name it something, save it, and every time somebody matches the values that you selected, they will be automatically added to the search, and you can mark the searches as important, and you can select them from here. Now let's go on to a specific contact record. If you've been with Nimble for a while, there's a chance you might be on the not yet updated user interface. So if you are, I encourage you to look for a little link here in the top right corner that will let you click on it and then see the updated contact person view. So when you land here, of course, you'll see all the basic details about the person, their first name, last name, their title, the company they work for. There's a picture. You can also upload picture if you don't have existing pictures yet. We will try to look for any social media accounts for this person. If they are not active on social, unfortunately, we will not be able to attach the picture automatically, but in many cases we can. But just in case you open up a contact record and you see that there's no picture, you would like to edit, you could use the upload photo, and maybe you could just download their profile picture from their LinkedIn profile and upload it into Nimble. This is all the social accounts that we found for the person. If you click on them, Nimble would open up a new tab, and you would be able to go on the specific social media platform. On here, you can create notes. Notes are a great way to make sure that nothing will be forgotten and everything will get done. So instead of when you're on the phone call with somebody, instead of writing it on a piece of paper or on a sticky note, you could use this feature and write the info in there right away to make sure that, let's say if you have a meeting immediately after that, just to make sure that you don't lose the sticky note in the process and it actually gets done. Because once you enter the information in here and click add note, it will be visible under the interaction with the person. So then you would be able to go back and maybe create a to-do from that. If you want to log any activity that happened with the person in the past, you could use our log activity feature. You can select if it was a task or an event or a call. And we also have custom activities. So these are all the activities that I created, and you can create anything that works for you in settings, and then you'll be able to select from the drop-down menu here. And when you're creating the custom activities in settings, you can also tell Nimble to reset the stay in touch reminder every time you select this custom activity. So then you would be able to search on show me who I haven't contacted more than 90 days and make sure that you're nurturing your network and following up with all your important business contacts. And as you can see, this mark is completed is checked by default. That's because login activity is for any past activities. If you wanted to log any future ones, you would click on schedule, and it looks exactly the same. So you would be able to select which one it is that you want to focus on. If you want to message somebody, and this will be really useful, especially for people that want to track their Outlook messages, you could message people straight from here and just send and track. So all the messages will be tracked. Inside of Gmail, I'll show you what it looks like. There's a little Nimble icon that you can check, and you can track messages straight from Gmail. You can also create a deal straight from here. You can set the probability, primary contact, participants, select the appropriate pipeline, all the stages. You see that we have contact info here. We also have a contact discovery feature that's called Nimble Prospector. So there are 3 places in Nimble where you can use them. This is the first one, and Nimble Prospector will always be a green button that says search for contact info. So let's say John got into my Nimble database, let's say from Twitter. So obviously I wouldn't have his contact information. As long as I know his first name, his last name, and the company he works for, Nimble should be able to work in the background and find the contact information for him. So here you see it found his email, it found his title, even his phone number, where he's located, and the links to his Twitter and LinkedIn profiles. If I want to only add specific information to Nimble contact record, I could select the specific ones, or if I want to add everything to Nimble, I would select all of them, click Save Data, and everything would be automatically attached to it, and the contact record would be enriched with this information. Under interactions here, you'll see everything that has been done with this specific person. So as you use Nimble more, as you do more things with specific people, this might become a little crowded because it's just like a unified view. So if you want to focus on specific things that happen with the person, you could go under activities. This is where you would see the activities, and you can also further refine them by just tasks or calls or events, or are there any deals associated with this contact? Okay, there is one, so you could even click into it and see when was the last action taken on this deal. Do I need to follow up with my salesperson to make sure that they move the deal forward in the pipeline? You can also just see notes, messages, or just deals. Under data fields, this is where you can create the custom tabs, and Nimble right now allows you to create up to 5 custom tabs, and after each custom tab you get to create custom data fields. So this is really useful if you have any special columns in a spreadsheet, or if there's any kind of information that you wouldn't want to be capturing, you wouldn't want to be using tags for, because like I mentioned, it can get a little crowded with tags. This is how you create them. So it looks nice and clean if you only have 1 or 2, but as you have 10, 20, 50, or even more than that, there would be a drop-down menu, so you would have to click on it and select the appropriate tag. So using custom field can really make sure that you're organized. And the custom fields can be text fields or even drop-down menus. So if there is account owner, so you could go into settings and list all the account owners, and then everybody who wants to update the contact record would just select the appropriate account owner from the drop-down menu and save it to the contact record. All this information is shared across the entire team, so this can really make sure that you are always up to date with whatever is going on with your prospect and customers. Under company information, we will show you a basic information about the company. Under social, this is where we would list all the information about all the social profiles we have been able to found for the person. So again, the more active on social media the person is, the more information you'll be able to see here. You can also use our quick lookups to see if there are any sites that you want to be keeping an eye on, and I see that I need to refresh it here. So this would be literally a quick lookup of a page. Under files, you can attach any files from Dropbox, Google Drive, or Microsoft OneDrive, and we are currently working on adding the ability to add files straight from your computer. One of the custom fields that we have inside of Nimble are our lead field details. So you can also use this for qualifying your leads. So you can use the status, source, or type. These are the only custom fields in Nimble that you don't get to change. You get to change the individual values. You can completely customize them, but the field, status, source, and type, they will remain the same. One more thing that a contact record contains is a smart summary. So this smart summary will be a combined bio from all the different places that we were able to look up some information about the specific person. So it can really help you to prepare for meetings, and maybe you'll see that you live in the same town or went to the same school. So it can help you with some conversation starters and getting ready for your meetings. The next tab here are signals. If you are using Twitter, you will probably like this because you will be able to see all the engagement on Twitter. You'll be able to respond to people, add them quickly, hover over them and see what they're all about, what their companies are all about. Add them to Nimble, look for their contact information. You can even follow them straight from here, and you can save searches. So Nimble will automatically save all the last searches you've made on Twitter, and then you would be able to quickly go through them, which is really useful for monitoring the mentions about your company online. So not direct mentions when somebody mentions the exact Twitter handle of your company, but maybe when somebody is talking about you, but not directly tagging you. So then it will allow you to jump in the conversation. Maybe it's somebody who had an amazing customer service, so you could thank them, or maybe they shared a bad experience. So then you would have the option to make it better and respond to them and engage them. You can also update your status from here on Twitter, create a new message. You can even email people or direct message them. Under messages, this will be a unified inbox from all the email addresses you have connected into Nimble together with Twitter. So since we will automatically sync all the history of interactions on all the emails you connected to Nimble, it is not necessary for you to be using this inbox. It is just an option. So if it works for you, if your intention is to do everything in your CRM, you can do so from here, and then you would have a tab for each of the emails that you have connected to Nimble here. But you can also just continue using Outlook in Outlook and Gmail in Gmail, and under the contact record, you will see everything under here, all the messages. Group messages. So you can use our segmentation feature to then send templated messages to people that match certain criteria. One thing I would like to mention right from the beginning is that this feature hasn't been designed to blast your email list. So it will not replace MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or any other apps that you might be using for managing your email list. This feature was designed to help you nurture your relationships. So it's supposed to be working together with our segmentation feature that you would use to create specific groups of people. So you could use a combination of text and locations to come up with people. Maybe you want to meet up with people at a conference where you're going, you want to have dinner with your most important clients there, and you would be sending an outreach email that's very similar, if not the same. So the group messaging could actually save you a lot of time on retyping emails. So this is where you can select from which email you want the group message to go to. The way it works is that it's being sent via your email provider. So that's also why the send limits are set quite low. The reason is that we don't want you to get flagged by your email provider and locked out of your email account. So again, it's very important to select the groups of people you are emailing very carefully. By default, you get 100 messages per day per user, and the clock will reset at midnight. But if you are interested in upgrades, you can just email us at billing@nimble.com, and we'll be more than happy to upgrade you. And Megan, if you don't mind, please share a link about the pricing for upgrade and group messages. So subject line, pretty straightforward. We also have merge tags. So if you're emailing somebody, you can say hi. and then you can use merge tag on first name. So then Nimble would automatically grab the first names of everybody here and help you personalize the emails. In order to be compliant with GDPR, we have the option for you to add an unsubscribe link, and then once people unsubscribe, you will see that in your analytics, and you will also be able to select the tag and match it against any future outreaches to make sure that these people are not being sent emails to after they have opted out. You can also attach files. We have some basic formatting here. You can also add your email signature in settings. Very important thing is here is that you have the option to send yourself a test message, so that will come into the inbox that you selected here. So once you receive the email, you can take a look at it, make sure there are no typos. If you included any links, you can click on them and make sure that they work. Once you create a message that maybe you would want to reuse in the future, you can save it as a template or select from any existing templates. Under recipients here on the list, you will see a list of all the people that you have selected to send a message to. If you have used the segmentation feature and maybe you selected people who you don't have emails for, they would show up under the errors list, and then next to them there will be the green button for using Nimble Prospector. So you will be able to use Nimble Prospector here to find their contact information, automatically match it to the contact record, and then once you do that, the person will be moved under the recipients list. And since I'm talking about Nimble Prospector, everybody that signs up for Nimble, they will automatically get 25 Nimble Prospector credits. And if you need more, again, please let us know at billing@nimble.com or care@nimble.com, and we'll be more than happy to send you information about upgrades. The reason we charge for them is that we also get charged for using this feature. So it runs on credits. Every time you run the lookup, it's considered a credit. If you are trying to look for somebody's contact information and maybe you'll see a little red error message that says that we were not able to verify if the email address is correct, we will not charge you a credit. You will still be able to use the email that we found, but because we are not 100% sure that it's a correct email, we will not charge you for a credit. Under activities, this is where you can see everything that's on your agenda, everything that's on your calendar. You can filter just by task or calls or specific events or any custom activities. You can see those that have been assigned to you or anybody else on your team, and this is where you can select the specific tag. So if you want to organize any of your activities by tags to make sure that you are always focusing on the most important campaign or project, you can select the tags here. You can also tell Nimble which calendar you want to see if you connect multiple. In activities listing, this is a great feature, especially for salespeople, or you can also use it for project management. This is where you can pull a list of people and then use it to go through them and mark as complete. You can also completely customize it here. You can just pull tasks or events, just calls, those that already have been completed. You can save these filters as well. And you can also configure the table to reflect just the fields that are important to you. So if you're contacting people by phone, maybe one of the columns you would want to have in the front would be a phone number. Under task, you'll see a list of all your tasks, those that have been marked as important, completed, or delegated, assigned to you or somebody else on your team. You can also see a calendar inside of Nimble, or you can continue to use calendar, your Outlook calendar or your Google Calendar. Here we are in deals. So you have two options to see your pipeline. It can either be in the pipeline, that's the view that we're currently on. You can also see them in the list view. And this is where you could also customize pipelines. We already covered how you can do it in settings. This is another place where you can do so. So this is where you could customize them. Select the product, change the name of it, create more stages, or you can also drag and drop them. You can click edit here and set up the number of days you allow each deal to stay in each stage, and save it here. This is how you can go back to pipelines. And using deals in Nimble is very easy. Once you select all the stages, you can easily drag and drop them and move them to the next stage. Once you reach the last stage, and it will be the default one called close deal, Nimble will ask you if you want it or lost it. This is where you can toggle between the pipelines. You can also display all the team deals, or just select from those that you want to see from the individual salespeople, those active, won, lost, or those that are stuck. The stuck ones will be those that exceeded the set number of days that you told that you wouldn't want to get over. So once that happens, the deal will turn red, and it will kind of be getting on your nerve to move it forward in your pipeline. You can also export the pipeline into a CSV file if you want to share it during a meeting or email it to your colleague. We have some basic reporting in Nimble. So this is where you can see the dashboard, you can see the forecasted deals or deal history. You can completely customize the range that you want to focus on, select the specific pipelines. You can create a team report or reports for individual salespeople, and you can also print it. I know that I mentioned many times that we have extensions to Nimble. So if you go on nimble.com/widget, oops, Nimble will know on which browser you are. So it knows that I'm on Chrome. So I could just click on this button, and the Nimble extension will get connected where all my other extensions are. And we have this widget on all the major browsers. So it's Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or even Microsoft Edge. This is also a page where you could download our mobile apps. We have both Android and iPhone apps, and our inbox plugins. So for Outlook, no matter if you're using Outlook desktop or the web app, this is where you could install the extension, and it will automatically get added to both. And same with Gmail. The way it works with Gmail is that once you install the browser extension, it will automatically get added to Gmail as well. So if you don't see it there, just refresh, and it should automatically be added. And the way the extension works is that it is literally an extension of Nimble, and you can use it anywhere you're working on the internet. So you can use it on specific websites or social media platforms. So here we are on our website. Nimble knows that it's our website, and it's created a contact record for the company with all the information about the company. You can also do it for individuals. Let's see what it looks like on LinkedIn. The widget is an amazing prospecting tool, and you can use it just by hovering. You can bring it up like this, and you can just hover over any name anywhere in your feed, or you can even prospect people in comments, or you can, if you post, or an influencer posts something, or somebody in your network posts something about a competitor and people are discussing it, and you want to see who the people commenting on it or liking the posts are, you can use this extension to kind of learn a little more about them and possibly even add them to Nimble. So just by hovering over Laura's name, Nimble pulled up an existing record for her. I could also change profile picture. Now it didn't load. Sometimes it will happen with LinkedIn because, like I said, LinkedIn doesn't allow third-party applications to directly integrate with them. So sometimes you can see that the pictures are not being carried over. But again, you'll have the option to add them manually. So you can do most of the things you can do from inside of Nimble on the extension. You can edit a contact record from here. You can create tasks, calls, or add notes for yourself or anybody else on the company. You could even message this person. So if I had her email address, I would be able to send her a message straight from here. I could qualify her straight from LinkedIn. I could create any tags. I could quickly review her summary. Are there any activities, any notes, any deals? This works the same way on Twitter or on Facebook. If you are a heavy user of Twitter and you utilize Twitter lists, we also have a Twitter list import inside of Nimble. So again, if you want to prospect on Twitter, you can just pull up the widget, hover over any name anywhere on the internet. If you don't have the person in your database yet, Nimble will show you that it's a live profile. So this is what Nimble was able to create in the background without you doing any data entry. If the person is somebody you would like to add to your database, you could just click on Add to Nimble, add any tags, either existing ones or create new ones. You could fill out any of this information and mark as saved. And just like that, this is the actual contact record in Nimble, and you didn't have to do any data entry. So it saves a lot of time. I mentioned the Twitter lists. So Twitter can be very, very noisy place. So Twitter lists are an amazing way to kind of get through the noise and create specific groups of people. In case you are utilizing this on Twitter, you can import them to Nimble, and you can import any of your own Twitter list or any Twitter list that somebody else curated, as long as they are public. So you should be seeing this button on Twitter. After you click on it, you can Nimble will import the list with the name of the Twitter list. If you want to change it, you can just do so here. In Gmail, here you're seeing a circle back integration that I will enable. What it does is that, so this is the plugin inside of Inbox, and the circle back integration that you just saw popping up is an integration that allows you to give Nimble the rights to look at the email signatures of people that are emailing you and automatically grab the information and attach it to the contact record. So again, it will be saving you a lot of time on data entry and also making sure that your contact database is being updated, because when somebody changes their title or they move to a different company, they definitely make sure that they update their email signature, so you can be sure that that information we are putting on the contact record for you is up to date. You can do all the same things here, but like adding tasks, events, calls, adding notes, and etc. This is what it looks like on Outlook web app. So it won't be showing on the right side automatically. After you open an email inside of the Outlook web app, you'll have to click on the three dots here and then bring it up. And then you can do all the same things like we just went over in Gmail. It just looks a little different. You can add notes, tasks, create deals, create events, mark the person as important, set up stay in touch reminder, create tags, create deals, and all that. On Outlook desktop, the Nimble plugin will show up here. So every time you open an email and want to maybe add new people to your database or update existing contact records, you would just click on it and you'll be able to update the contact record here. And looks like my internet connection might be a little slow, but it will look the same as here. We also have mobile apps, so please download them from the App Store if you're not using them yet. You can do most of the things you can do inside of Nimble on your phone. You can also receive notifications to make sure that you are following up after every meeting and adding any notes about anything that happened during your meeting. We also have a business card scanner, which is really awesome way of saving time, making sure you are not losing the business card. So you can just take a picture of the business card and then Nimble will create a contact record for the person. And you'll be, of course, able to set up any of the next actions. So is it a task for yourself or somebody else on your team? And with that, I would also want to invite you to our next training webinar. So on September 11 next week, I will be focusing on how to prospect better and smarter with Nimble. So we'll be going through all the different places where you can use the Nimble extension and create new contact record, find out more about the people that you see and qualify them. On September 18th, my colleague will be running Nimble CRM General Overview. We will also focus on the Nimble mobile overview and show you how the mobile applications work. And on September 25th, this is actually the one that my colleague will be running. It will be all about using Nimble as a team. And on October 17th, we will be hosting a webinar with Liz Hyman, who is a sales expert, and she'll be giving advice to companies on how to set up pipelines and how to manage their funnels, what all the individual stages should be called, and all that. So we will actually make sure to add the register link to our follow-up emails today so you can register for this one as well. We are running a special offer for new users today. If you are in trial, if you are in trial currently and you would want to take advantage of this too, you can email us at care@nimble.com and we'll add more days to your trial. If you are new to Nimble completely and wanna test it out, you can sign up at nimble.com/offer/webinar30, and this trial will give you all the features to test out for 30 days. So with that, thank you so much for staying for such a long time and your interest in Nimble, and have a great day. Bye.